for Leo, and I should just quickly mention it's for whoever it resonates for. You may or may not be in this, and currently it may be something that you're working toward inward here, or it could be something you're just leaving, departing in. Others will be right in the middle of it. You're not all making decisions on a Tuesday, so just be aware of that. So again, just take it as it resonates, but overall it's just general energy. So these are the Enchanted Love Tarot, and so this one doesn't necessarily specifically relate around just love relationships, but I would still say, given the cards, it does kind of speak to a couple of different scenarios here that I'm looking at. The fact that we're dealing with the 10 of Wings, 10 definitely, there's some kind of an end cycle that you're sort of finishing up here, and it's something that I would say has been quite trying on you. The 10 of Wings does indicate a difficult time that you might still be undergoing. There may still be a residual of this energy, but there's also a feeling of the worst is primarily the worst is over. And even though you're drained, it's like the 10 of Wands energy. There's still, it leaves you with that trace feeling of staying a little bit in doubt, you know, that because you've kind of gone through that dark night of the soul, so now you feel like you've endured something, puts you in a space of feeling a little bit alone, and you feel like if you want to, you know, like if we're talking about a relationship for some of you, it's going to be different for all of you, but generally, relationship is very strongly oriented with this one in particular, but there is that dark night of the soul sort of sensation here, and when that basically arises, to me it's an indicator that you've both gone through a difficult time, and it's kind of strengthened the relationship basically. So together you now have more more of a supportive role to each other, you know, because you've gone through some kind of a crisis of some sort. So whatever you felt didn't work out before, it's more along the lines created a bit of a deeper wound or sense of loss, and maybe there's some kind of a professional that may be coming in to assist you with the situation. And again, doesn't have to be like a counseling mode or something of that nature, but it certainly does speak to having some expertise in a particular area to deal with this. So I do see it is followed up by the Princess of Shells. So to me, that's dealing with somebody who is more romantic and idealistic. It definitely has that feeling of, like I said, more relationship oriented in this read for me. But again, Princess of Shells is still indicating that there is some kind of a, doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, just a very significant relationship where there has been some difficulty. But either way, it feels like you've collectively gone through a situation that has allowed you to come out on the other side together in more empowered in some way, because it has, you know, something where there has been, like I said, anticipation of something, and then there was suffering and there's pain, and it didn't really quite go in the way you wanted, but somehow the relationship is stronger for it. I can't explain how that is, with that is really what's showing up here. So again, could be partnership, romantic, otherwise, but or a strong friendship, but either way, there's some kind of a still coming together there, and it's still a sharing. Like there's still some sense of being able to exchange your thoughts without, without, fearing that you won't be understood. But either way, it's also that card of Kindler, but it's kind of an intuitively led connection here as well. But since learned for sure, but it's to more of a positive in the way that you connect. So then we are down into the Four of Roses. The Four of Roses is that card of fours are all about stability and balancing things out, but it also still speaks to there being a situation where the card does indicate about respect, so it does feel like there is more of a long or enduring connection. And this can be, again, romantic, friendship, or business, but it feels like whatever that existing relationship is, it's about to be more now because of whatever you've gone through. So there is something here about more of a mutual respect being given and received. There's more of an exchange. And again, tokens of love or tokens of appreciation, something like that. But it just feels like, there is just a lot more of a kindness extended between in that connection. Then we also have the Nine of Roses. So that one is also kind of speaking to the same. Lots of love energy here, of emotion. That's also kind of addressing habits here as the card depicts. So it feels like, um, and able to have a healthy, enduring relationship. Obviously, the connection has to have, the appropriate attention or kindness or, you know, um, doing things together, exercising together, staying healthy, doing things where you're actually appreciating one another. And it's almost like that habit was interrupted some way. So something was off balance there. So when you actually practice, techniques to sort of um, engage with the other person or appreciate the other person, then it helps to, you know, develop more trust in the core of the relationship. So that goes to values and belief systems, all of that. So it feels like it's something around that seemed where the area things were off. We also have the Seven of Shells, and again, Seven of Shells is dealing with illusions. So there might have been a lot of confusion around a situation here that did not seem like it was advancing because there was almost like a miscommunication. Like I said, it just feels like there were a lot of things that weren't really dealt with in the ways that yeah, it wasn't really dealt appropriately. I want to just say there too, because the seven is usually a pretty positive card, I would also, say that it's something about almost maybe somebody put too much emphasis in something and not enough, because it was more of, it's an illusion card. So it's almost like you had too much of an idea about how something was supposed to be, what the emotional connection was supposed to look like, what the relationship was supposed to look like, and it took that expectation. And so it's almost like you manifested something because you were idolizing something that was your own image that you had in your mind, but it's not really what the situation. So what I would say is just to kind of guard against that wishful thinking. Otherwise you sort of get yourself up onto that emotional roller coaster. And this is really about allowing the other person to be themselves and you having to accept them for who they are. If there's things that you cannot absolutely accept and it goes against, your values and belief systems, you might have to, do another scenario, another, whatever situation. But this one seems like it's a fairly engaging connection. So I would still say that, keep moving forward, basically. And we also have the 10 of gems. Now, these are all just clarifiers, but you do have a lot of the 10s out here, which does speak to, an end cycle that's kind of finishing up here. So I feel like you've almost reached the, whatever it is that was lacking in respect and having these overinflated ideas about how a connection was. I'm also going to do tarot after this, guys. This is just sort of the general energy, but it just feels like this is a really strong connection and that things are actually going to be quite secure going forward. There's a lot of family support or traditions, and there's a lot of importance in those celebrations between the two. I feel like things are going forward, in a really good way. So it may be a little bit more having to establish and reinvest in one another, conservatively. But I would still say that the connection is still very strong. Now we're getting into the Eight of Wings, and the Eight of Wings definitely is a card that kind of speaks to eights are all about sort of a certain element of balance here as well. But it definitely feels like there was some kind of a decision that needed to be made regarding a person or maybe about getting clear on something and you couldn't quite decide. So you're putting yourself in a space of getting rid of outmoded ideas, that kind of thing, and able to go forward because it created a lot of confusion, I think, this connection. So I would just say, it's still an intuitive card, look patiently within, but relax more about, what you think things should look like versus, you know, seeing the person for who they are. So you're trying to gather up information to really understand them, basically. Then we're into final cards of, and again, I'll do the tarot following this, and then we'll just get maybe a better idea. This is just general information, general. general cards here. But then we're into Five of Shells. Fives are all about making some changes, and it feels like whatever the changes were a little bit disillusioning and disappointed. You feel like maybe someone was left behind, or the kind of disappointment in terms of indifference or rejection. So there was disappointment, not really seeing that something, you're seeing the glass half full instead of, or half empty versus half, half full instead of half empty, where the connection goes there. But either way, it just feels like the situation was difficult. There's a lot of old baggage that you're trying to trudge through. And so I feel like you've had to shift your perspective basically and able to go forward. And then we get to the Queen of Wings. And the Queen of Wings feels like there's been a contemplative space as well. Somebody's been a little bit more over controlling in a situation. But the Queen of Wings does speak to a lot of interpersonal skills, trying to work through something. So either way, I just feel like this is that time of really trying to get involved with looking at the things that you're in an introspective, self-sufficient mode, um, trying to get honest with, the connection and the challenges and trying to understand life. It's that kind of energy. So it's something here about maybe somebody was too picky, somebody was too over controlling. But either way, it just feels like there's been something here that has required some emotional intelligence, and again, maybe counselor energy here as well. All right, let's just go right into the tarot and just see where that goes. So that is just general energies out dealing with a relationship. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So what are the energies coming in for Leo for the month of February? What are the energies coming in for Leo for the month of February? Leo, month of February. All right, somebody from the past, could be child energy here as well. Definitely all around family matters, happiness, and it's an excellent card to get. We'll get clarifiers as well. There's been a sense of lack or disappointment in a particular area, though. Why the Five of Pentacles? But it is, you are protected, and it definitely feels like about something being unbalanced, absolutely. We also have the Ten of Cups. Why do we have the Ten of Cups? Okay, the Knight of Pentacles wanted to show itself, which is a practical energy, slow moving, methodical kind of event that was coming in there, but it could have been around finances and a plan. That could be something that's further out, but it would be, I'm not going to take the card right off here. But it's definitely around sort of Libra, Gemini, Gemini, Aquarius energy here. So it feels like there's been something around that, around a family matter. What is it about the family matter? Why the Ten of Cups with the, okay, the card jumping out here is a decision that's made with the Judgment card. And this could be like a wake-up call of some sort here as well. What is that wake-up energy? Definitely around some kind of King of Pentacles. There's some kind of big decision that's coming through there around a family situation. And what is the Six of Cups? Why is the Six of Cups here? Six of Cups could be dealing with somebody in their 20s, 30s. Knight of Wands sort of represents 30s, but anyway, it could be childlike energy regardless, but there's a communication coming through here for you, Leo. And it feels like, what is this indication? Seems to be a lot around money on this one. What is the Knight of Wands with the Six of Cups? And I shouldn't say that, it's just the really energy there too. All right, well, this is further out energy, but your main energy basically that's in here, I just want to see, what is it you're being protected from? I guess that would probably be, yeah. Okay, so we'll just jump right in there. I'm just going to take it over a little bit so you can see that. All right, so we are starting out with the Six of Cups energy, and the Six of Cups, as I said, it can represent that there is a child here, but the Six of Cups with Knight of Wands, definitely kind of an in and out energy. So there could be an energy of someone from the past that kind of disappears, shows up, disappears, or is very inconsistent in the way that they show up all around. So either way, I just feel like there is some kind of nostalgia that's going on. There's a lot of action, a lot of excitement, a lot of passion. And it definitely kind of speaks to maybe there's a return or a rekindling of some kind of passion or romance, but it just feels like there's a sense of adventure again that's kind of reignited with that energy. So again, revisiting the past with approach possibly, or emotional healing and a passionate renewal. So either way, there's some kind of reconciling kind of energy here, and it's paired quite well. So there is going to be some action and taking place moving forward, getting rid of emotional baggage, but also that's exciting new energy that kind of leads to some, I don't know if I should say emotion. Well, yeah, it is emotional depth, because we also end up with the Ten of Cups. So there is emotional depth here. And I just feel, that connection again is from the past, and it's definitely has a familial kind of excitement to it, but it's also reignited because it's like a fresh adventurous feel. There's also that 10 of Wands, or sorry, 6 of Wands energy here. So that's more of putting somebody on the map or drawing attention. But the 6 of Wands is also that conquering energy. So I would say that somebody may be getting recognition, or there's a victory of some sort in terms of a connection. And it definitely feels like there's more nostalgia, energy, rekindle, healing and renewal sort of energy, and kind of a boldness in the connection going forward. So anyway, just to say, the person, like I said, may have been in and out, not consistent with how they came across, but it just feels like there's a lot more of a bold energy here. So again, 6 of Wands, 6 of Wands is definitely kind of indicating that there is going to be something going forward here that is going to be impressive, like something they wanted. That past connection, recognition, could be some kind of public acknowledgement as well. But either way, the past comes into play here, and it just feels like this is, again, a strong romantic emotional connection. And it's a triumph in that rekindling or in that reunion. You've overcome some kind of emotional hurdle, and there's now passionate action going forward. So just a lot from the past. Yeah, a lot of past energy here, but just, yeah, it's just really good energy all around. Now we're getting into the 10 of Cups energy here. It definitely feels like we are in that space of dealing with not just emotions, but like the happiest emotions. I feel like person, could be air sign, definitely. And but the 10 of Cups, but we also have the 10 of Cups, and again, it's the Queen, I think it was the Queen of Swords. I'm going to pull that forward here again. But with the Queen of Swords energy, very balance in this romantic connection. So it does represent some kind of success, like I said, successful achievement. And again, this doesn't have to be just around a romantic involvement. This can be involved in even in regards to a partnership or business. But either way, whatever the scenario it is, you're dealing with something from the past that was consistent, and it is now a victory. You've made some kind of a balanced or reconnection here in a situation. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic, can be business. But even in terms of the King of Swords, it could be dealing with a contract situation here as well. It's made you ecstatically happy, deals with your family situation here as well, or impacts it in some way, but it's emotionally satisfying for you. And it does feel like you're dealing with some kind of a business. Not seeing corporate energy, but contractual for sure for some of you. And again, this would be dealing with somebody who is entrepreneurial energy still in here, especially when I see the Knight of Wands with that King of Pentacles. Somebody here is a little bit more creative. The other person is more down to earth and likes to have things their own way. But either way, there's a lot of victory, even in terms of, like I said, a relationship or a connection. There's confidence here. There's achieving a goal. There's achieving a relationship goal and a business goal. But I definitely feel like there's some kind of public acknowledgement for the effort. And again, strong negotiation skills here, or at least direct communication. And it feels like there is going to be something here to celebrate irregardless. Because there's definitely a lot of confidence and self-assurance coming through. And that does deepen an existing relationship. But I also want to say that the judgment, it's like there's a decision that's been made. And maybe the decision is coming through on behalf of somebody who is represented as the King of Pentacles. But if that is the case, that connection does indicate that it's a successful one. And it's lucrative money. It's money that's coming through with that. And like I said, I mean, these are very practical energies, but it's also dealing with a lot of your headspace, happiness and your harmony and love is all of it actually. Clear communication, ability to make a decision based on truth and fairness. It's very grounded, clear thinking and some wise choices here. And especially with the King of Pentacles, like I said, that's all about not only is there clearer communication in a relationship, but it's almost like there is a sense of emotional clarity in decision making. So there's more of a balanced approach to whatever this is, love or business, or even just a friendship, but there's more of a balance there. And a lot of independence, a lot of emotional satisfaction. So, whatever this connection is, it's pretty grounded. And I feel like it's one that is very enduring, fulfilling, and stable. And it's based on open communication. There's a lot of really good energy here for having a conversation and, getting one's needs met as you're striking a balance with the heart and the mind. So there's a certain element of peace and, like I said, independence and contentment because it is a mutual respect and because it has a strong ability to feel comfortable enough to have a conversation with this person. So like I said, there's a lot that's built on stability and responsibility. And there's kind of like that second chance feel, but it's also building a legacy together. There's something here that's very, you know, very good energy for building together. Really focused and creating us going to be long lasting and, in terms of family, home, future together, all of that. Um, and the only other thing here that seems to have been, again, there was a sense of some kind of lack. Like there was obviously some kind of personal challenge here, but there's still long-term potential and they're building a legacy together, and setting releasing whatever this was, because the Five of Pentacles usually, does indicate that somebody didn't feel good enough, or but the Five of Pentacles and the Temperance card, that really balances out that energy. So what I'm going to say there overall is that you win. Whatever the hardship was, it just required some patience, some healing to balance things out. It was a difficult situation. Somebody felt unsupported, left out, dealing with a challenge on their own. And this is the message of hope with the temper. This is the message that tells you that there's healing after the hardship. So there's feelings of worth and insecurity here, but it's starting to balance out and heal because you're working more closely together. And that's kind of a measured approach to restoring, whatever the connection was here, whatever the difficulties you had to go through, really has helped you operate better together. So it's actually empowered the connection. So it's not one person trying to fix everything and rushing through emotionally, because that wasn't bringing you the peace that you'd hoped for. So that's why the emotional restoring of self-worth through the connection has allowed for more of a point of careful respect, so that there's more of a blending of one's differences instead of, dealing with things alone. You're dealing with things together, basically, all around. This is a reconciliation. It's some kind of possible period of physical distance here as well. But overall, somebody felt neglected or didn't feel like there was enough attention. So there was imbalance. But anyway, things are looking pretty good here. I feel like the trust is being rebuilt and all that. Again, doesn't matter if it's relationship or like in business or otherwise, but there's a lot of good energy here about rebuilding that trust and working together. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, Leo. I have got to go to bed, so moving forward, I'll do another read here for maybe for February again, but I might do a little further out, depends. I just go with the flow. Anyway, keep forward, never give up. We'll see you in the next read.